Hello, listeners. This is Amorgate Radio Communications. The program is Talent Attraction and Retention Strategies. I am your host, Titilola Ogushona, and I welcome you to yet another exciting and expository episode. As one of the strategies to attracting and retaining top talent in an organization, today we'll be discussing creating a culture of employee recognition. We'll be looking at the concept employee recognition, the importance of an effective employee recognition program, the characteristics of effective employee recognition program, also steps in building an effective employee recognition program. And of course, if time permits, we'll be looking at various types of employee recognition programs that an organization can deploy. So let's look at the concept employee recognition. Sometimes it's referred to as social recognition, and this can be defined as the act of acknowledging employees publicly for who they are and their valuable contributions to an organization. It can also be defined as the process of acknowledging and rewarding employees in an organization for their contributions, for their effort or innovation or creativity that has added value to an organization. Employee recognition reveals the way an organization appreciates its employees for their contributions. And this could be in terms of specific achievements or sometimes exceeding expectations on the job. And it could also come from peers, from partners, from stakeholders, as the case may be. Tend to deploy strategies to reward my employees. Is it important to be deliberate about appreciating their effort, recognizing their effort in the organization? Why is this important? It's important, and statistics has revealed the height of importance of employee recognition in organization. I'm going to share the statistics with us. OC Turner Institute reviewed, according to the survey carried out by them, the organization with strong employee recognition programs reported an increase in employee engagement by 784%. That is a direct and positive relationship with level of engagement. So 784%, if you ask me, is high. So every organization should be concerned about measuring the level of the employee recognition activities that they have inherent in the organization. Also, SARM Woman Employee Recognition Survey carried out revealed that 68% of organizations with effective employee recognition programs had a direct positive impact on retention. So if you are thinking of retention rate, attracting talent, retaining talent, this is an indication that 68% of organizations with very strong employee recognition programs were able to retain their talent. That is also an eye-opener. Also, another survey carried out by LinkedIn revealed that 96% retention rate for employees who receive about 4 or more awards. Okay, so employees who have received 4 or more awards in an organization, 96% of them are likely to stay with the organization, and that is very high, if you ask me. Consider another importance of an effective employee recognition program, and it is that it drives up loyalty of employees. An engaged employee who want to put in his or her best in the organization will be loyal to organization, and that boils from the fact that the employee can trust you. That boils from the fact that the employee feels valued by the organization. That's because you believe and you have total trust in the organization that every effort of yours counts, that your valuable contributions would be recognized and will be celebrated, and that's what an employee is ready to stay with you, and that drives up the retention rate of employees in the organization. And in turn, it takes me to my next importance, is that it increases the level of customer satisfaction. There's a well-known saying that will say, make your employees happy, they in turn will make your customers happy. That's the truth. You make them happy, they in turn make your clients very happy. And of course, when your clients are happy, it means that you're not just going to secure the client's, current business dealings with you. Of course, you are also securing potential and future business dealings, and also you're also having people that would also refer others to you. So, and that all starts from you recognizing what your employees have put on the table right now, what they have done for you right now, so that they make your clients happy, and in turn, your client can add value to your bottom line as an organization. So you can't be overflogged to say that employee recognition is a great talent attraction strategy. So let's look at another one. It helps to strengthen company values. I like this aspect a lot. And that's why, but it boils down to one very good question. Is your employee recognition strategy, is it considered to be equitable? Is it considered to be transparent? Is it considered to be fair? And that boils down to it, because equitable recognition helps to strengthen companies' organization values. What do I mean by equitable recognition? I'm talking about a situation where all employees, irrespective of race, gender, background, get equal recognition based on their contributions. You are fair, you are just, in recognizing and rewarding their efforts. So you must ensure that it's equitable, and that's why we are going to talk about the starting point is you defining the metrics, defining what will get recognized, defining how people will be recognized, defining all of those things will help you a lot. So you should note that if you can get it right, it helps to strengthen the values of an organization. Do we then need to build a culture that recognizes the effort of our employees? Why do we have to be deliberate about recognizing, about appreciating, about celebrating valuable contributions made by employees? What merit can organization derive from building this culture of employee appreciation or recognition? The first one is that it increases the level of productivity. Your employees are your assets, most valuable asset, because they would also control both the material, the machines, the financial materials of organization. So that, if you ask me, they are your most valuable assets. So when you recognize them, when they feel valued, then they can give in their best. They can go extra mile because they feel that every effort, every contribution of theirs is being recognized or would be recognized by the organization, and they will be rewarded accordingly. So definitely when they put in that best, it increases the level of productivity of the organization. So you are doing yourself a great favor as an organization when you choose to put in measures that will deliberately look out for celebrating valuable contributions by your workforce. Because sometimes what employers look at is the cost implication, because whatever they believe is not going to have monetary implication, but in the true sense of it, sometimes it doesn't have to be expensive. And if you look at it, if you carry out the cost benefit analysis, you realize that as an employer of labor, you stand a lot to get as an organization when you celebrate them, because it's going to increase the level of their productivity, and in turn will lead to increase even your profit margin, profitability level, the bottom line of your organization. Let's look at another merit, importance, role of employee recognition programs. The second one is, like I said, is going to improve the morale of your employees. And why I like this is because when employees feel valued as human beings, you want to put in their best. It's going to be self-motivating. They can motivate themselves because they know that Every action we recognize, every action, every win, the small win will be duly celebrated. And what it does for you as an organization is that it helps you to build a culture of self-improvement. Your employees are conscious about developing themselves. They are conscious about even beating their previous record. For instance, if we have an employee who has been able to achieve a sales deal of about 10 million, or even whatever, even the tune of 100 million, 100 million. If it's in Nigerian currency, NGN, or $100 million, wherever the part of the currency that is spent in that where your organization is situated. Now, if you have recognized such effort of an employee, what happens is that employee is motivated, self-motivated to do more, to beat the last record. And that in a way helps to create a culture of self-improvement, because others, it has a way of being, when someone is passionate about something, it's contagious. Passion is very contagious, and when an individual having other individuals, a group of people, tuning in good results, others would see it and they'll be motivated to do more, to even be like it. So invariably, in turn, it creates a culture of self-improvement. And it's another one is it leads to improved level of employee engagement. Okay, and research has proven that an environment where employees are recognized, where their efforts are celebrated, where even the small wins, are noted and celebrated. The research has proven that in such an environment, employees like that are 4 times likely to be engaged. And an engaged employee will put in his or her best. An engaged employee will treat stakeholders with respect. An engaged employee will be ready to go the extra mile for your customers, for your clients. An engaged employee will be ready to take, risk, for the organization. No, I would say calculated risk, but you get a lot from an engaged employee. So, if you are deliberate about recognizing, celebrating the contributions, no matter how small, of your workforce, you are building up a team of engaged workforce, and it does a lot to you as an organization. In fact, that even helps your brand, because they will not want to do anything that will tarnish the image of your organization. Also remember, an engaged employee will become a very strong advocate for you. They are ready to talk to their friends about you, their family dinners, they're talking about it, their international conferences, they are so proud of your brand, and they don't want anything. What they will do at any point in time is to enhance that brand. If you're just joining us, thank you so much for joining. We are discussing how to create a culture of employee recognition, and we just spoke about the importance of an effective employee recognition program, the role, the benefits that can accrue to an organization if you deploy effective employee recognition program in your organization. So for organizations that already have existing employee recognition programs, we're already deploying various programs. Now it's time for us to check these characteristics I'm going to mention. So I'm going to go to characteristics of effective recognition programs. So you have programs already existing in your organization. Please try to check, all of these characteristics that I've been mentioning. So the first one, it must be timely. Your employee recognition programs, whatever programs you're going to deploy, be it formal, informal, be it monetary, career, rewards, whatever it is you are deploying in your organization, you must ask yourself, it is timely. Do you reward in a timely manner? That's the first one. It's very crucial that you take note of this. Some will say, actually, we reward efforts of our employees, but when do you reward? When is important. It must be timely. Remember the essence of you, giving incentives different incentives to your employees is because anything you want to, any behavioral you want to see permeate your organization, you reward. And when you don't reward on time, how do you, draw connection, to expected behavior? Somebody has, somebody has proven, to deliver his or her duties excellently, and he has done it in the first quarter of the year, and you're not rewarding at that time, you are waiting to the end of the year. So how do people even remember? So it must be taught timely. As soon as it is, you see that the very exceptional behavior, you need to celebrate that in a timely manner. And it's important, like I said earlier, you don't wait till the end of the year before you celebrate valuable contributions that have been made in the first quarter of the year. How do people, draw that connection? You could have even forgotten. Even recipients would have forgotten. The second characteristic of an effective recognition program is that it must be done frequently. It must be done frequently. Giving feedback in terms of recognition frequently is paramount. Now, you ask me why. Contributions are made by employees in different units, in different regions. It's made daily. In fact, different people make contributions, on an even hourly basis. So if contributions are made daily, if I want to break it down, even made every hour, so it sounds logical that you give, it's like a form of feedback. You recognize them as when due. You don't have to wait till the end of the year. It shouldn't be an annual event. A simple thank you, stating the reason for why that was done, an email. Everything doesn't have to be about money. It's not about monetary rewards. Trophies. Do not spend so much on trophies for a particular team that doesn't exist anywhere. Because remember, in a particular year, you have how many quarters? So something has been achieved in the first quarter, you don't have to wait till the end of the year. It's important because, like I said, contributions are made daily. In fact, some contributions are made by different people hourly. So why wait till the end of the year? It's not strategic to do that. So if you have an existing program, you need to find out from yourself how frequently do you do that. It must be done frequently. So why am I laying emphasis on the frequency of recognizing employees? Because research has shown that 71% of highly engaged employees remain in an organization that recognizes employees at least once in a month. Okay, so if you wait to the end of the year, it means that you are likely to lose 71% of your employees to an organization, to a competitor that recognizes employees at least once in a month. So if that's the recent trend, so why must you as an organization, if your motive, if one of your objectives is to attract talent and also retain them, you do not want to lose them to competition just because of this. So it must be done frequently. Consider the third characteristic of an effective recognition program is that it must be specific. It must not be vague. It must be clearly stated. Expected behavior, what would be recognized, how would such recipients be recognized, when will they be recognized. It must be specific. It's important whatever program that you are going to carve out in your organization in terms of recognizing valuable contributions by your former employees, it must be specific. There must be all those programs, the objective, how, when, must be clearly stated. And another one that brings me to my characteristic of an effective recognition program is that it must be visible. It must be visible. Yes, some could argue to say, okay, must everything be formal? That recognition programs that doesn't have to be formal. Some could argue that why can't I just send a thank you note? It could be through conversation. It doesn't have to be written. We have oral. No, yes, I agree. But let me tell you why I'm saying it has to be visible. Is because public recognition, research has shown that public recognition has higher impact than private. I sometimes, some people are comfortable with you, recognizing that effort, that contribution privately. That okay, we just an email to say thank you. telephone conversation to say thank you, a one-on-one conversation to say thank you. But research has proven otherwise, to say that, when it's visible, and if then, it has higher impact. And I think if you look at it logically too, when you praise people in public, when you give public recommendation, when you recognize them publicly, it also helps to motivate others. So if you look at it from that angle, okay, so in addition to your private messages, I will also advise that employers, organizations can deploy both, the private and the public, because one of the characteristics of effective employee recognition program that has proven to be very effective is that it must be visible. Yes, when people want to aspire to achieve similar results, it helps to reinforce positive behavior throughout the organization. So it must be visible. Let's look at the last characteristic that I'm going to mention here, is that it must be value-based. Your employee recognition programs must align with the core values of an organization. You want people to live those values. They must be deliberate about recognizing effort. You must be deliberate about putting on incentives that would motivate people to live those values. So one of the way is to reward, in addition to technical competencies, achieving financial results, achieving even reduction in costs. You must also recognize people that have lived your values as an organization consistently. Such way, your employee recognition program can be termed to be an effective one, because it's going to align with your values, your mission, your vision statement, allows you to achieve those goals of organization consistently, to turn in results, consistently over time. No further, to consider the practical steps that an organization can take to build an effective employee recognition program. Just like the way organizations will come to talk about their recruitment strategies, we'll talk about employee engagement strategies, you also have to be deliberate and intentional about building an effective employee recognition program. So the first step I would say is, as an organization, you must define what you want to recognize. I'll take it again. An organization must define what they want to recognize, because you have to be deliberate about it. What are the specific behaviors that you want to reward in an organization? You need to go back to the drawing board, get all stakeholders involved to brainstorm on what the specific behaviors that you want to reward. And I always say that anytime you're even looking at it, you must make sure that it aligns to your core values. You must make sure that it aligns to your vision, because everything you do in an organization, you want to incentivize efforts, behaviors that will allow you to achieve your vision as an organization. So you have to go back, reevaluate your vision statement, your mission statement, your core values, what you want to achieve as an organization. Then you go back to decide, on those specific behaviors that you want to reward. And that is the basis of fairness. That is where it starts from. It's not something that has to be accidental. No, it must be pre-planned and must be deliberate about it. You can also look like I said, in addition to cover your behavior, what behavioral competencies do you want in terms of integrity? Is it teamwork, excellence? Sometimes when you have a challenge organization, for instance, if you have an organization where people are coming late, so one of the things we want to reward are those that are punctual, those who come in earlier. If one expect them to come in, as simple as it is to come in at 7:30 a.m. And what about those who have consistently come in at 7 a.m.? You want to reward that, because you want that the kind of behavior you want to see permeate throughout the organization. So you have to decide. Sometimes it could come from the challenges you are facing as an organization. Sometimes it could even be report. People are not turning in their report on time. Sometimes what you want to reward is the fact that you are having high high cost of operational cost. Your operational cost will be very high. So you are looking at operating a lean budget, and you are trying to allow we are encouraging all units to cut down on their costs. So if that's what you want to see, the drive to cut costs, definitely you need to that's a behavior you want to reward. So anybody that is deploying cut costing strategies, however, not at the detriment of quality, okay? But if you can achieve both quality and quantity in terms of being efficient with resources, then you need to reward that. So we go back there to decide this behavior. What are the issues we are having? What kind of behavioral competencies do we want to see permeate through the organization? You need to go back to decide on those specific behaviors. Now, if you have decided, then you need to also further decide, how do you want to reward? What are those reward programs that you need to implement for these core behavioral competencies, for these core technical competencies? How do I want to reward this category of people? You need to go back to decide. It has to be intentional, strategic about it. It must not be an impromptu thing or at the discretion of the manager. No. So because your employees will not feel that they are fairly treated. Okay, so you need to be deliberate about it. You must decide on how to reward. So if you have decided on specific behaviors to be rewarded, how to reward, then you need to even find that frequency. And I told you that one of the characteristics of an effective program, employee recognition program, is frequency. So how often do you want to reward this behavior? Do you want to do it, verbally? Do you want to do it? You have to be visible. How do you want to reward is something you have to go back to drawing point. And interestingly, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach for organizations. You have to go back, look at your people, the demographics, look at what will motivate them, and I always say that you can test the pulse of your employees. You don't think you know how they want to be rewarded. Also find out from them through surveys, interviews, how they want to be rewarded. Okay? And the frequency is important. When you are planning already, look at, do you want to reward quarterly? What are the things you want to reward on a monthly basis? Remember the statistics we spoke about is high. Those 71% of employees are ready to stay with employers that recognizes employees' effort at least once in a month. So if that is it, go back. I also remember that people give valuable contributions on a daily basis. So you can choose to reward on a monthly basis. You can choose to reward on a quarterly basis, semi-annual basis, but not annually. So it's a bit, if you're just starting out, you can choose to reward maybe quarterly basis. So just look at the peculiarity of your organization, the project the issues you are having, because remember, I said that you could actually use that to stop, some behavior in the organization. If the issue you have is this, then you reward people that are consistently, living above the benchmark, putting in superior results at all times. It's important that we do that. It's also important, still on defining what you want to recognize. It's important that as an organization, you also want to define where should the recognition come from. There are different levels of recognition. Is it a top-down approach? If you come just from, top executives downwards, do you want to do peer-to-peer recognition? Because research has also proven that peer-to-peer recognition is also has high level of impact. So you need to find out, where will this recognition come from? Is it going to be from the team leader to the team lead? Is it going to be from peer review, peer-to-peer review recognition? You need to be deliberate about it, so that when you come out, it becomes your policy, employee recognition policy. So it's on there. Everybody has access to it. So that's the starting point. The starting point is to define and look at all of these things, these parameters. How the specific behaviors to be rewarded, how do you want to reward, the frequency, and where should it come from. It's also important at this stage to even define the metrics, on those specific metrics to measure employees' contribution. Yes, I know what to reward, when to do it, the frequency, where should you come from. Specific metrics should be spelled out. It's important, and it should cut across every member, every unit, if they're multinational, every region, all levels. This is important because everybody, must be appreciated, everybody must be recognized, and you must have that structure in place that allows everyone's contribution in the organization to be recognized. Defining what you want to recognize an organization, what is the next practical step that you can take to build an effective employee recognition program. My second step is that you must communicate these agreed programs. You must ensure that everyone in the organization is aware of the various programs and they must know how they can qualify to benefit from this program. What I've seen from my years of experience is that there are some programs, designed to recognize employees that some employees in the organization do not even know. Now, if I'm not aware of those programs, how do I even want to work towards, benefiting from those programs? So it's important that I must deploy appropriate channels in an organization to communicate these programs to everyone. And even in this area of hybrid work, we have people working remotely. Then what can you use? You must be, flexible with your communication channels. For those working remotely, you can do video conferences to talk to them about this program. You have intra-mails that you can send to talk about these programs. You also have, collaborative tools like Slack that you can, leverage on to communicate these programs to your employees in the organization. You just have to be flexible around it and deploy appropriate communication channels, letting them know about this program, the criteria for benefiting from all of these recognition programs must be clearly stated. And what I've seen again sometimes, even there might be the need for you to train your leaders on how to communicate these programs to team members. There are some employee recognition programs that I've seen from experience that even some team leaders do not even know about, and what they know about, they can't even explain the criteria, for benefiting from these programs. So there might even be the need for you to evaluate your team leads to educate them on how to train, how to communicate these programs, to their team members. It's important. You cannot over communicate. It's better you deploy appropriate channels to communicate to every member of the team. That is when they will see your process as being fair and equitable. It's also important that I also mention this next step. It could actually come before even communicating this program, but you need to ensure that you get your stakeholder support. It is important. Yes, that would have been done at the brainstorming session. You have come up with these programs. Now, if you have communicated to them, what it does for you is that you should open up the communication channel, feedback channel, so that your employees can send in, their thoughts on these programs. So if I have designed programs, to recognize my top talent in the organization, and they don't see those programs as, as what they want, it's not the way they want to feel valued, so then definitely it's not going to be effective. But so after communicating to them, it's important that you have a feedback mechanism. You must make sure that you have your feedback channels. They have to be appropriate and they have to be efficient. So when you get feedback from them, then you can get their support. So you must make sure you get their support. When you get feedback from them, if you need to review those programs, you would know. You need to get their buy-in. You need to get your stakeholder support, from top management. You need to get even the support from everyone, every stakeholder in the organization. It's important that you get their support, because if you don't get their support, you can achieve the objectives. It's critical. So what is the fourth practical step that you can also take as an organization? You must adopt user-friendly recognition methods or approaches. You must avoid the use of recognition methods that require complex administrative efforts, to achieve recognition programs' objective. Let it be flexible. They need to fill a survey online. They need to fill any any form online, make it user friendly. Don't make it cumbersome. If you make it cumbersome, you're not likely to achieve the recognition objective. So please take note, if you're already having recognition programs in your organization, your methods, are they user friendly, especially if you have those methods, the virtual methods, the online methods, are they user friendly? It's time to test the pulse of your employees. You might, from the management point of view, it might be user friendly, but you need to test that pulse to ensure that that interface is indeed user friendly and is not too complex for your employees. On today's episode, we would wrap it up here on the 4 practical steps that an organization can take in building an effective employee recognition program. We'll continue our discussion next week. If you learned anything from today's episode, kindly click the like button. For comment, feedback, questions, suggestions, kindly send a mail to contact@theamogate.org. And you can also check up on our social media handles: Facebook Amogate, Instagram Amogate, LinkedIn Amogate. Thank you so much for joining us and staying tuned to the end of today's episode. We hope that you join us same time next Friday on Amogate Radio Communications. I remain Titilola Ogunsona saying bye from here.